Flying to Hong Kong, the pilot of an Airbus A310 carrying 75 total passengers declared total emergency after his child was in the cockpit messing with the controls, and the plane was plummeting down to an inevitable fate. Unknowingly, his 15-year-old kid disengaged the autopilot. This tragedy never should have happened. That's why I'm going to share the shocking details of this investigation and the fatal mistakes that were made. Who was the irresponsible person who let the kid in? Why didn't anyone stop him? How did 12 professionals on board manage to crash a perfectly functioning plane? Welcome to Rush Aviation. On March 23, 1994, Aeroflot Flight 593, an Airbus A310 carrying 63 passengers and 12 crew members, took off from Moscow's Sheremetyevo International Airport, destined for Hong Kong. The flight began like any other, with the experienced crew settling into their routine. However, unbeknownst to the passengers, a series of critical errors and breaches of protocol were about to unfold, turning a routine flight into a devastating tragedy. As the aircraft cruised at 33,000 feet, the captain made a decision that would set in motion a chain of events leading to catastrophe. What could have possessed a seasoned pilot to allow such a dangerous situation to occur? And how did the crew fail to recognize and correct the unfolding disaster? The answers to these questions reveal a shocking tale of negligence and incompetence that cost 75 innocent lives. The aircraft, an Airbus A310-304, was relatively new, having been delivered to Aeroflot in December 1992. With its advanced fly-by-wire system and state-of-the-art autopilot, it was considered a technologically sophisticated plane, expected to provide a safe and reliable journey. Yet, despite its technical advancements, human error turned it into the setting for one of aviation's most preventable disasters. The root cause of this tragedy lies in a series of deadly mistakes and shocking lapses in judgment. At the heart of this catastrophe is the unfathomable decision to allow a 15-year-old boy, Eldar, into the cockpit during the flight. This single act of negligence set in motion a devastating chain of events that would ultimately claim the lives of everyone on board. Eldar's innocent curiosity turned disastrous when he unknowingly disengaged the autopilot's control of the aircraft's ailerons. This critical error went unnoticed by the pilots, who failed to recognize the silent warning light indicating the autopilot's partial disengagement. The absence of an audible alarm, a feature the pilots had grown accustomed to in their previous experience with Soviet-designed planes, played a significant role in their delayed response to the unfolding crisis. From a psychological perspective, the pilots' inattentiveness and over-reliance on automated systems contributed to their inability to grasp the gravity of the situation. The subtle visual cue of the warning light was easily overlooked, especially when contrasted with the expectation of an audible warning. This overdependence on automation and lack of situational awareness proved fatal, as precious seconds ticked away before the crew realized the true extent of their peril. Please consider subscribing if you are enjoying the video. It helps more than you think. As the aircraft banked sharply to the right, exceeding its design limitations, the pilots found themselves in a state of confusion and disbelief. The sudden change in the flight path indicator only added to their disorientation. precious moments lost in attempting to comprehend the gravity of their predicament. The increased G-forces experienced during the steep bank further hindered their ability to regain control, a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of the laws of physics. The human factors at play in this tragedy serve as a chilling reminder of the immense responsibility placed upon pilots and the dire consequences of even the smallest lapses in judgment. The failure to adhere to basic cockpit protocols, the over-reliance on automation, and the lack of situational awareness all conspired to create a perfect storm of human error. But what of the technical aspects of the aircraft itself? Could a malfunction have contributed to this disaster, or was it solely the result of human fallibility? In the face of such a bewildering and terrifying situation, one might wonder if a technical malfunction played a role in the unfolding tragedy. However, a thorough investigation revealed that the Airbus A310-304, with its advanced fly-by-wire system and state-of-the-art autopilot, was functioning flawlessly. The aircraft, powered by two reliable General Electric CF680C2A2 engines, had no reported issues prior to the flight. The blame for this disaster lies squarely on the shoulders of the pilots and their egregious breaches of protocol. As the aircraft plummeted towards the ground, the pilots frantically attempted to regain control. However, their lack of familiarity with the Airbus's advanced systems and their panicked state led to a series of fatal overcorrections. The first officer, in his desperation to pull the plane out of its dive, inadvertently caused the aircraft to stall and enter a spin. Despite managing to briefly level the plane, the loss of altitude was too great to recover from. The technical knowledge and skills of the pilots, while essential, were rendered moot by their disregard for basic safety protocols. The most glaring breach of protocol was the presence of unauthorized individuals in the cockpit. Allowing the pilot's children to sit at the controls and manipulate sensitive equipment is an unthinkable violation of aviation regulations. This lapse in judgment not only endangered the lives of those on board, but also undermined the very foundation of trust that passengers place in their flight crew. Additionally, the pilot's failure to recognize and respond to the silent autopilot disengagement warning light highlights a critical oversight in their adherence to standard safety checks. Had they been more attentive and followed proper procedures, this tragedy might have been averted. Investigations revealed that Captain Kudrinsky had brought his children into the cockpit against regulations. This act, intended to entertain and perhaps educate his children, ended up costing them and everyone else on board their lives. The presence of unauthorized individuals in the cockpit created distractions and led to a breakdown of professional conduct and situational awareness, which are crucial for maintaining safety in flight operations. The autopilot system's silent warning of partial disengagement was another critical factor. Modern aircraft are equipped with numerous warning systems designed to alert the crew of any deviations from normal operations. However, the Airbus A310's reliance on a visual cue rather than an audible one proved to be a fatal flaw given the pilot's background in Soviet aircraft that predominantly used audible alarms. This discrepancy in warning systems contributed to the delay in recognizing and responding to the unfolding emergency. As we reflect on the tragic fate of Aeroflot Flight 593, it becomes painfully clear that this devastating loss of life was entirely preventable. The series of seemingly small yet incredibly consequential mistakes made by the flight crew culminated in a catastrophic outcome that forever changed the lives of countless families and loved ones. The decision to allow a child into the cockpit, the failure to notice critical warning signs, and the lack of adherence to basic safety protocols all converged to create a perfect storm of human error and negligence. The lessons learned from this heart-wrenching incident serve as a stark reminder of the immense responsibility placed upon those entrusted with the lives of passengers. It is a solemn call to action, demanding that we never grow complacent in our pursuit of aviation safety. The 75 souls lost on that fateful day stand as a haunting testament to the high cost of negligence and the dire consequences of even the smallest lapses in judgment. As we move forward, We must honor their memory by redoubling our efforts to ensure that such a tragedy never occurs again. The aviation community must remain vigilant, constantly striving to improve safety standards, training, and protocols. Only through unwavering commitment and a collective dedication to excellence can we hope to prevent future disasters and safeguard the lives of all who take to the skies. Subscribe right now if you cared about this accident.